Two gardens, same county, same rain, same seed. One's barely holding on. The other's producing more than the family can eat, and its owner hasn't bought fertilizer in 40 years. Across Appalachia, folks have been building soil for about $2 a yard, while the rest of us spend $60 a yard. The question isn't whether this black gold works, it's how an entire generation forgot it existed. After World War II, a quiet revolution swept through American gardens. Synthetic fertilizers, once reserved for military use, began lining the shelves of rural feed stores and hardware shops from Kentucky to Pennsylvania. Ammonium nitrate, the main ingredient in many of these bags, dropped below 10 cents a pound by the early 1950s. Federal subsidies and surplus sales made nitrogen-rich blends cheaper and easier to find than ever before. Newspaper ads from the era promised bigger tomatoes and greener lawns, all with a few scoops from a brightly colored sack. The promise was simple: more food, less effort, and no need to shovel or turn a compost heap. For families who had spent the war years tending victory gardens and saving every scrap for the pile, this new convenience was hard to ignore. Over time, the old hands-on skills faded. The knowledge of how to build living soil, layer by layer, season after season, was quietly pushed aside by the lure of instant results. It was not regulation or a government ban that changed the way people fed their gardens. It was the power of price, advertising, and the ease of a bagged fix. Rumors about an EPA ban on backyard composting have spread far and wide, but the facts tell a different story. The Environmental Protection Agency not only allows home composting, it actively encourages it as a way to cut waste and build healthier soil. The official EPA guidance found right on the agency website spells it out. Home compost piles are legal, safe, and recommended for most households. In West Virginia, Ohio, and Virginia, state rules are just as clear. As long as a compost pile stays under 500 square feet, about the size of a small garden plot, no permit or registration is required. Ohio's code and West Virginia's environmental statutes both carve out this exemption, and Virginia's Department of Environmental Quality follows the same standard. Enforcement records from the last decade show 0 fines for home composting in these states. The only restrictions apply to large commercial operations or piles built too close to streams. For everyday gardeners, that means you can keep turning your backyard pile with confidence. There is no need to worry about hidden rules or sudden penalties. Just follow basic safety, keep the pile under 500 square feet, and enjoy the benefits of real, living soil. Subscribe for more practical garden know-how. Dr. Jane Miller, a soil science specialist with West Virginia University Extension, stands beside a heap of straw, chicken manure, and a bucket of hardwood ash. She starts by laying out the foundation. A 4-foot cube is the sweet spot for a backyard hot compost pile, big enough to hold heat and small enough to manage by hand. With a pitchfork, she spreads a 6-inch layer of dry carbon material. Leaves, wood chips, or straw all work. This is the brown base, essential for structure and slow-burning energy. Next comes a 2-inch layer of fresh chicken manure, the green that fuels microbial growth. Dr. Miller explains that the nitrogen in manure jump-starts the composting process, but too much can make the pile smell or go slimy. She sprinkles a 1-inch layer of clean, untreated hardwood ash over the manure. Ash adds calcium, potassium, and a gentle limbing effect, balancing the natural acidity of Appalachian soils. She cautions, only ash from pure, untreated wood should be used. No painted boards, no charcoal briquettes, and never ash from trash fires. Heavy metals or chemicals in tainted ash can linger in the finished compost. She repeats the sequence: 6 inches of browns, 2 inches of manure, 1 inch of ash, building the pile like a layer cake until it reaches about 4 feet high. Dr. Miller checks the moisture by grabbing a handful and squeezing. If a few drops come out, it is just right, about 50 to 55% moisture. Too dry, and the microbes cannot do their work. Too wet, and the pile can turn anaerobic, stalling the heat. Once the pile is built, she drives a compost thermometer into the center. The goal is clear: the core must hit and hold between 140 and 160 degrees Fahrenheit for at least 3 days. This thermophilic phase is not optional. At these temperatures, weed seeds and pathogens like Salmonella and E. coli are destroyed. Anything less, and the risks remain. A simple thermometer, readily available at garden centers, takes the guesswork out of safety. Turning is the next step. Every 2 to 3 days, she uses a fork to mix the pile, pulling the cooler outer layers into the center. This even exposure is what keeps the whole mass in the safe, hot zone. She stresses skipping turns can leave cold pockets where seeds or pathogens survive. After about 90 days of steady turning and monitoring, the pile shrinks and darkens. Finished compost smells earthy, crumbles in the hand, and has cooled to below 100 degrees. The result is a balanced amendment with an NPK ratio close to 5, 3, 2, a slow-release blend that feeds plants and builds soil for seasons to come. Some final cautions. Dr. Miller reminds viewers never to add meat, dairy, pet waste, or glossy paper to a basic compost pile. These materials can attract pests or introduce hard-to-kill pathogens. Human waste, she says firmly, belongs only in advanced sealed systems that meet strict temperature and health standards. For the standard backyard pile, stick to plant matter, animal manure, and clean ash. By following this simple recipe, 6 inches of browns, 2 of manure, 1 of ash, turned every few days and monitored for heat, gardeners can reliably produce their own black gold. The method is hands-on, safe, and deeply rooted in Appalachian tradition, offering a practical path to healthier soil without the price tag of commercial fertilizer. Subscribe for more practical guidance and real-world soil solutions. A bag of fertilizer at the local feed store runs about $60 per cubic yard. That's the going rate for commercial organic blends with a guaranteed NPK. But in the Appalachian Hills, market gardeners have quietly sidestepped that price tag for generations. By mixing chicken manure, hardwood ash, and garden waste, they're producing a finished compost for about $2 per yard, less than the cost of a cup of coffee. The difference isn't just pocket change. For a quarter-acre plot, that adds up to a seasonal saving of nearly $400 year after year. Maggie Collins, who runs a small market garden outside Charleston, West Virginia, keeps a running tally every spring. She lays out the numbers. I used to buy 6 yards of bagged compost for my beds, and it cost me over $300. Now I build 3 piles with what I have: manure from our flock, ash from the wood stove, leaves from the yard. My total outlay is maybe $12, counting the odd bag of straw. The rest is just turning the pile and waiting for the heat. The savings are clear on paper, but the real payoff comes in the soil. Finished compost isn't just a nutrient boost, it's a slow, steady investment in organic matter. Extension yield trials across West Virginia and Ohio show that regular applications of hot composted manure and ash raise soil organic content by an average of 1.5% over 5 years. That's enough to change the way a garden holds water, resists drought, and grows crops. Maggie's own beds, once tight and clay-heavy, now crumble with a touch and soak up rain like a sponge. I don't have to water nearly as much. My tomatoes stay healthy, and the peppers keep producing late into the season, she says. The USDA's price reports back up her experience. Bagged compost and commercial organic fertilizer in the region sell for $60 to $70 per yard, and even basic poultry manure runs over $100 per ton. At $2 per yard for homemade, the price gap is hard to ignore. The numbers hold up in side-by-side yield trials too. Plots treated with hot compost produce about 70% of the yield of a synthetic NPK blend, but they build soil that gets better each season, not just for one crop, but for the next 5. That long-term gain is what keeps gardeners like Maggie committed to the method. I could buy a bag and be done, but then I'm back at the store next spring. With compost, my soil gets richer every year. I'm saving money, but I'm also building something that lasts. For anyone weighing the cost of another bag of fertilizer, the numbers speak for themselves. Homemade compost delivers nutrients, organic matter, and a living soil for a fraction of the price. plus a garden that grows stronger with every season. Subscribe for more practical guidance and real-world soil solutions. Compost isn't a miracle, but it is real. Finished piles boost soil health, feed microbes, and help gardens hold water naturally. As fertilizer prices rise, practical composting knowledge becomes power any gardener can claim. Every healthy handful is proof you don't have to buy what you can build. Subscribe for more hands-on guides.